All righty. Appreciate you guys joining us here at SimTraX Broadcasting. Let's get this one started off here at the Monster Mile here tonight for the MBNA America 400. You guys may have remembered a little bit last time you guys joined us there at New Hampshire. What an excellent race that was for the Chevy Monte Carlo 400. Although Brian Jones out there in the number 45 had led most of the laps that race actually went to the number 42 of Dalton Tucker to come away with the first win here for the playoffs. That's going to work out very good for the Chip Nassy Racing crew as they are going to be on the charge here tonight. Right now, I've got a few drivers there. Ronnie Norman, Hunter Sr., Ryan Housden, just to name a few, will be out there really putting it on here tonight to make sure their drivers get on top. Ryan Housden a little bit slower here tonight during practice. He's only got a few laps in. But the man who has been doing a ton of practice out there goes to the number 19 of Cody Reeder. Now, this guy has laid down over 100 laps here to prepare for this race, and we're excited to see how he's going to manage. Now, there's going to be a ton of speed out here. We all know this being the Monster Mile. I almost call it the speed mile out there, because what you'll see is guys top over 165 to 180 miles an hour, and it's going to be extremely tough when these cars side by side, 10.5-inch tires, tons of wear here on the right side tires, and guys are going to be sliding by all night. So let's go ahead and take a look at what this race is going to consist of for 240 laps. Yep, that's 240 miles these guys are going to be putting on their Fords and Chevys out here with a 77% fuel limit. We'll kind of weigh our options out there on how many cautions do or do not come out. That should hopefully be a solid run here tonight. Possibly a fuel window maybe around that lap 55 to 65 mark, knowing how Cody Reeder also pits a little bit offset if there is an early caution. They should have plenty of tires down there in the pits. We've seen lots of drivers lose a ton. I mean, an absolute ton of positions out there on pit road. I'm trying to figure out a nice way to say it. Pit road mistakes. Guys end up sliding into the barrels on the way in. Guys speed on the way in. Guys speed on the way out. You get so used to doing so much speed to try to slow down to 35 miles an hour is an absolute painstaking process. So a lot of these guys are going to be trying their best. Stella is out on a vacation right now. She's enjoying her time over there in Europe. So in this fixed setup league with, of course, no fast repairs, I will be your lead producer here tonight and your commentator as we get ready to go here with race control of Greg Thiessen sitting on top. Now, we'll kind of tumble around here a little bit as I believe there will be an EO well divvied out there to one of the top drivers out there, the number 9 of Dustin Kaliba. We'll see how exactly RC handles that because he is being pushed around just a tear to see how it can go. So we'll kind of teeter back and forth. But what do you say we take a look at our starting lineup here for tonight as Vincent Arthur and Dalton Tucker top front spot here. And I've got to say that is pretty impressive seeing that our front 4 guys are teamed up pretty close. Vincent Arthur, Dalton Tucker, Brian Jones, and Ryan Housden. A lot of drivers have been working this side by side out there on the track. I just don't know who is going to be pushing to get out front first. I would expect Vincent Arthur to try to get that fresh air and definitely push his way and make his way into the front and leave everybody behind. Wayne Eastwood and Josh Conover in row number 3 will be trying to continue that on and see if they can run them down as before they are able to get away. Moving on to Hunter Sr. in the number 40 car out there in the Sterling Marlin Coors Light machine. We'll see how well he can do tonight as he'll be starting to the inside of Dustin Kleba. Like I said, we're maybe divvying a penalty out here tonight with the number 9. Dustin Kleba may have an EOL penalty. We'll see how it goes. John Scavanicki will be starting in 9th next to Cody Reeder in the 19 Ford. Should be looking pretty good here for our top 10. Moving on to Nick Giles, who's out there in the Ryan Newman All-Tel machine. Glad to see him back in a familiar paint scheme. He'll be starting next to the Home Depot car of Jacob Gladelick. He'll be starting in 12th. Moving on to Nick Ham, who starts in 13th. Brady Moats trying to finish it on off here as we see him starting in the 7th row. Matthew George, 15th. Jake Christenberry to 16th. Moving us on to Christopher Heights on into the 16th position. So I'm going to see as we switch up a little bit. I'm saying he's in the 16th position because I believe they are going to EOL Dustin Kleba right at the beginning of this race. So this will allow a lot of guys to shift up. But Christopher Heiss had qualified in 17th, Ronnie Norman 18th, and Brad Fulham to go ahead and take the final position. I'm showing Ronnie Norman currently in the 39 Chevrolet down in pit road. I'm not seeing the Kyle Rochelle machine of the 39 moving, where Ronnie Norman will be taking the steering wheel out there. Ford Mustang down in the pit road. We are getting ready to get this one under green here, and we should be underway. Here we go. The MBNA America 400 off to a great start here, where Vincent Arthur sidesteps that clutch and out in front he goes. Brian Jones and Dalton Tucker have got to work well here together early in this race, because you do not want that 24 to get away from you. Currently, this does have a couple drivers shifting around out there as they shift back and forth. Couple of guys here in the back of the field already starting to feel a little bit of pressure. Shifting on back, Jay Christopher charging up front, but I see Dustin Kleba looks like he's going to be serving the penalty coming down pit road. Not only is he EOL, but he is coming down pit, so he will be serving possibly a drive-through. I'll let you guys know if he ends up stopping there in the box. Moving on, Vincent Arthur, Dalton Tucker is able to overcome Brian Jones. That gets him the second position. Jones is now third, Housden fourth, and Conover shifts up to fifth. Man on the move here, up 4 positions, sits Cody Reether. The 19 car is Ford on the outside of right now. That is Wayne Eastwood. Eastwood has actually been on the roll backwards. He's lost a couple of positions here. He does have the favorable inside line. Quick bite off the turn number 4 across the line. That one's going to go to Wayne Eastwood for the 6th position. But no fear, expect Cody Reeder to plan his attack here. Right now, blocking him up pretty tight is Josh Conover. Conover trying to hold a high line here to the 41 of Ryan Housden. I would say if Housden had started this season on track, this guy would be a man to mess with. But currently, with him starting so late, I don't believe that's going to be the case. Right now, Housden is shuffling back to 6th. Conover and Cody Reeder got him here. A little bit of wiggle out of one of these turns has cost the 41 machine. He drops to 7th. Trying to stop the bleeding is Housden as he sits down here toward the bottom. Let's get a little bit of a higher view here, as right now we see Hunter Sr. peeking in. That, of course, him being in the number 40 Sterling Marlin machine. Check out there. Right now, Ken Kleba is asking what is an EOL penalty and end-of-line penalty. Currently, he's been divvied a yellow flag for a little bit of tussle up there at the end of the season. I'm not sure if you guys remember a little bit. We tried to kind of avoid that where we saw them at New Hampshire, the race before that. And those guys had... there was some things going on out there, so a couple of things may have transpired of that race. But that should rock and roll Richmond race as it was. Right now, if you remember, Vincent Arthur and Dustin Kleba were getting into it out there. It looks like they have settled their differences, and it looks like Dustin Kleba will unfortunately be starting a ton of laps down here. He's going to be trying to chase and get back onto the lead lap. He's in danger of going down a second lap here. Kleba very close. Here's Vincent Arthur right on his tail here, about a quarter of a lap behind. Very close. So let's check back in on right now. I want to move in on the Jimmy Johnson car out there of Jake Christenberry in the 48 Chevrolet. Right now, Jake Christenberry has gained 5 following Brady Moats. Maybe they were trying the same process out there where Brady Moats has gained 4. Fortunately, Moats from 14th up to 10th. He's gained 3 with the help of the 4th position there for Dustin Kleba being in the back. So this allows Moats to move into the 10th position here. Nobody really trying for any positions currently here on the racetrack. I do want to note, appreciate you guys joining us here at SimTraX Broadcasting. Don't forget to tell your friends to subscribe out there. We are definitely collecting the subscribers and watchers out there here. And we are currently only broadcasting the National Oval Racing Association here on Monday nights. Much needed rest that I needed on here on this side, but still, regardless, this definitely keeps us nice and fresh here in the booth. As the time goes on, possibly I may have the ability to get back down on the track, and that's A-OK. Checking out there in the chat, LJ Hernandez is rooting on the 45. Yes, sir. And Jay out there is rooting on Dover. I'm hoping this race is going to be a heck of a lot less stressful as Richmond was. As we'll take a look at our points chase a little bit later on here in the broadcast, kind of show you guys where they are. I do want to shift up front here a little bit where Brian Jones only sitting about a quarter of a second behind in front of Josh Conover. Cody Reeder, huge dive down into turn 1 and 2. Cody Reeder starting to make up a little bit of distance here, and he is closing the gap on Josh Conover. As the 19 looking for a pass as he drops off the side a little bit here, very close. Cody Reeder taking a peek. Here's his shot. Gets ready to make a little bit of an angle here. Checking back out there in the chat, Ken Kaliba was asking, is he the only one that got one? Yes. Not only did 8 drivers who were divvied out penalties here for the past couple of, for that race there at Richmond, it did go to an owner's vote. And Vincent Arthur was relieved, Dalton Tucker was relieved, and Dustin Kleba was relieved, but it was then slowly retracted that possibly some intentional wrecking had been done out there on the track. So this is not our call or the admin's call. This is actually a peer review. And they had divvied out a penalty there for Dustin Kleba for an end-of-line penalty, putting him down a single lap here. So we'll see how it goes. The battle still rages on. Looks like it's finally coming to a close here with Cody Reeder moving up to 4th. That gives us a couple of Chevrolets and 2 Fords after that. And here comes Conover. A little bump right there to the back of the number 19 car. Currently right now that Jeremy Mayfield car has seen a lot of action this season. Currently he is charging his way up forward. If you take a look out there in the ticker, guys, numbers in green, guys in the playoffs. Numbers in yellow, guys out of the playoffs. And we'll take a little look at that right about now. Let's go ahead and take a look at what we've got here when we get to our championship running. Dalton Tucker is leading this charge here for Chip Nasi Racing with a 52.35, not but a few points behind. 10 at that, Brian Jones, Dustin Cleveland, Brady Moten, Vincent Arthur. You can see a lot of drivers out there from the Evernham Motorsports crew who are going to be piling it in here tonight. Want to get another huge step ahead if they can, if Dover plays to their advantage. Appreciate you guys hanging in there. All right, the MBNA 400 still charges on. Vincent Arthur leading every lap here so far. He's looking to go ahead and finish up lap number 19 with Dalton Tucker over a second behind him here. 2 seconds beyond that is Brian Jones as we catch up to the 39 of Ronnie Norman. Ronnie Norman, I believe, is actually down there with the Chip Nasi Racing crew, and he has been doing a little bit of practicing out there. That way he doesn't get caught off guard and end up being thorn in the side of any of these drivers, giving Brian Jones a little bit of an opportunity here in the 45 Expel Ford. You guys can check Atlantis out there, and hopefully Atlantis King is out there in the chat. Go ahead and talk to us about those foam cannons. I gave my girl a little bit of attitude out there and told her I want one. Let's see how we see Wayne Eastwood out there in the number 6 position, as Ryan Housden is starting to close the door. Housden starting to creep up just a little bit here, taking a peek to the inside, no can do. As we get a little bit of an inside look here, here's Housden. Housden doing a great job triangulating this turn. Hey, there's Atlanta South King. There we go, there you are. Ryan Housden taking a little bit of a different angle here. Notice how he's actually diving a lot deeper into that turn. Waits just a little bit and then pile drives right here, which really starts to reel in Josh Conover, as Conover wasn't able to pull down. Wayne Eastwood taking a look down to the bottom. Great move there by the 84 machine of Wayne Eastwood. He's able to slide back up to his original qualifying position, that being in 5th. Cody Reeder is now up 6 positions, holding on to 4th, and still we remain unchanged on our top 3 drivers. mileage is going to be a little bit tricky here tonight. I wouldn't expect that fuel mileage would be that big of a tussle up out here, or if guys are considering what they need to do out there. I think tire wear is going to be a big problem. Now, best time for Vincent Arthur sitting with a 22.97. He just ran a 24-second lap a little bit ago. So already we are seeing about a second of fall off here, about 25 laps into this. And across the line he goes, 24.04. And he is steadily slowing down. Norman goes a lap down now. Ronnie Norman's in some trouble, and Christopher Heights will be the next one on the list there for Vincent Arthur. Arthur does need to make up some time if he wants to grab a hold of him, but I think right now Christopher Heights should be pretty safe. I'm looking at about 8 seconds before Vincent Arthur can catch him there. Check on some of those times. Right now, half a second slower is Christopher Heights, so slowly but surely, Vincent Arthur's creeping up there to grab him. Let's see if we can find where Ryan Housden is. I think he's getting ready to get a little extra spicy out there. Ryan Housden currently sitting in 6th. Right now, only about a quarter of a second, now less to Wayne Eastwood. Currently, Housden has been very fast here as the past couple of laps. Shifting up front now, looks like already 2 teammates, Brian Jones and Cody Reeder. Reeder taking a look to the inside there. Brian Jones also obviously fighting back to keep that 19 behind him. 19 taking a look to the inside with his Ford Taurus charging along. As you can hear, a little bit of an engine rev there from Brian Jones, so you know there's a little bit of tire slippage already. So as he comes out of turn number 4, he slips around. As you see, Cody Reeder slipped up a little bit, knocked that wall just a hair. And Cody Reeder's now going to be playing chase. But Cody Reeder playing chase there to Brian Jones. Wayne Eastwood now going to apply the pressure, sitting right behind him. The 84 Car Quest machine out there of Kyle Busch taking a look to the inside, back to the outside. Now look at the inside again. Here we go with Wayne Eastwood. Been pretty quiet here the past couple of races. Eastwood to the inside. There we go, 4th position, easy grab there, and moving on. Looks like Cody Reeder might have smoked those tires. Whoa, Wayne Eastwood, way loose here, sliding out of 4 as he tries to collect it up on that front stretch. Cody Reeder goes ahead and bows off, and as he moves up to the top, goes and lets them on by. Eastwood does have Ryan Housden in his rear view mirror here for quite some time, about 31 laps. He has been looking at Ryan Housden's target machine sitting right behind him. Cody Reeder now falls down to 6th. Josh Conover now 7th. And moving up, I believe right now, is Matthew George. George taking a look here at to the inside of John Scavanicki. You know, Scavanicki's trying to work on a little bit of room there, and Kleba's going to start running it in. Remember, Kleba is a lap down here. Kleba just trying to make sure he doesn't go another lap down as he wants to continue charging forward. Hate seeing Kleba starting so far back. If this race is anything like we saw at New Hampshire, I think Kleba's going to have his hands full here tonight. He definitely needs a caution to get himself back up to the front and at least be able to battle Vincent Arthur to get his lap back. See how he does that, and if he can, moving up back again, a man with the light on him here is Ryan Housden. Right now, he is trying to fend off Cody Reeder. Reeder starting to charge forward, as he may have overheated those tires just not but a handful of laps ago. Cody Reeder takes that high side as the track starts to rubber up a little bit. We finished off with just a little bit of rain here earlier in the day, cleaning off the track, unfortunately, but guys did lay down a good bit of rubber out there during practice. Remember, I said Cody Reeder, and a little unusual to see him running kind of the way he is here. After just for happy hour, this guy ran over 114 laps out there on the track. So it's amazing to see Cody Reeder having so much trouble out of that race car right now. I'm wondering what he's really talking about his team down there, about what he may need to do and what he might need to do. Brian Jones and Dustin Kleba, I guarantee will be all ears. Kleba needs to figure out how to get back on the lead lap. Brian Jones trying to figure out how to come up with some time to catch Dalton Tucker. Tucker still remains in the second position, 1 second behind Vincent Arthur, and 5 seconds behind is Brian Jones. Vincent Arthur and Dalton Tucker have done a heck of a job separating themselves from this field. And I was afraid of that, and I think most drivers were, that if Vincent Arthur was able to get out front in that fresh air, he was going to run away with this one. Alsden getting a little wiggly there in the back. Let's move back to Nick Gillis. Gillis has gained only a single position, though, with the hard charging Jake Christenberry sitting behind him. Right now, everybody is starting to separate by at least a second or so. I believe Wayne Eastwood is almost back under fire. Keeping you guys here in the loop of the action out there on the track. Don't forget to go ahead and chime in out there in the chat. It's going to be a lonely night here for me in the booth. Stella is out on a vacation. So any questions that you guys have, go ahead and ping it in. Let's move back to Hunter Sr. Right now, still chasing Brady Moats. Moats is up 6 here on the night. Great job there by Hunter Sr., one of the drivers there from the Chip Nossie crew. Yeah, heck of a race here so far. Out here on the track is Josh Conover. Whoop, a little loose around Brady Moats. I listen to these guys joke around a little bit after hours and after the race, and Brady Moats would turn his best friend out there to win a race. But all in good fun. As long as Brady Moats doesn't drive like how he plays football, I think he'll be just fine here tonight. So Brady Moats up 7 here, taking a look at the number 8 in his left mirror. And no problem, he's able to keep Conover behind him though. Take a look here. This is Brady Moats. Looking back on the Chevy Monte Carlo of Josh Conover from Dale Earnhardt Incorporated. Right now the number 8 between 3 and 4 does gain some traction though. Starts to make up some ground. Conover's got a lot of work to do here. Conover may be just sitting back a little bit, watching these tires as the fall off continues. 23 seconds is the best time Dalton Tucker's run tonight, 24:32, which is now matching the time out there of Vincent Arthur. As I say that, Dalton Tucker does run a 1/10 of a second slower, allowing Dalton Tucker now to move up to 5.1 behind. Hate seeing it though as they kind of shuffle back and forth. Here we go with Hunter Sr. to the inside. No! Senior can't get around there as he's trying to pass the junior machine. Jay out there saying, "You got this." We hope so, buddy. That's no problem. I have definitely called races before out there all by myself. Where Wayne Eastwood's on the outside. There with the CarQuest machine. Here we go. Ryan Alsden to the inside, clear. Wow. Go ahead. A great way to start up lap number 46. Getting that 41 machine. Out front, looks like the Casey Mears car has got it. And he is now starting to create some separation, 0.3 of a second. As he's trying to move farther and farther away. Checking back on Brad Fulham here. I believe that is the Robbie Gordon machine. Yes, it is. Haven't seen that singular car out here on the track for some time. He's chasing down John Scavanicki out there in the 43. So far, this is the battle for the 14th position. Brad Fulham trying to take a peek around here. We're taking a ride along with a couple of other drivers. Yeah, Brad Fulham going to full send it here. That did look like a good move. 43 cars sitting behind. Is he going to clear him? Yes, he is. Brad Fulham now to 14th. Skavenicki back to 15th. That's 6 lost here on the night for Skavenicki. Love to figure out how to stop the bleeding. All right, Alanis King moves up to her favorite driver here, Brian Jones. Jones now under fire here by Ryan Housden. I think we're going to have a little offset pitting here from the 45. Yes, we are. Quick check up there by Brian Jones. We'll see if he's sped down pit road. It's going to be close. 35 should have been his speed limit. I was checking down there, and he was doing somewhere in the 38 margin. Give or take a couple of miles an hour here. We'll see if Brian Jones does have to serve a penalty. 50 laps complete here out here at Dover. That's going to bring us to with Vincent Arthur and Dalton Tucker starting to draw the line here. Dalton Tucker and Vincent Arthur coming on down. Brian Jones entering the box. Should be a 4-tire call here. Full tank of fuel, and the Expel 45 machine will be getting back out of there. He squirts out of there before Vincent Arthur enters his box. And, boy, see what I mean? He's got to make it past that green cone before we can start speeding up. And a lot of guys, as soon as they clear where that 24 is sitting, they start speeding, and then they get caught on the way out. Early Vincent Arthur, that's going to be close. He did have some tire spin there. I was showing him at 55 miles an hour on exit. We'll see if there's going to be an issue out there. So leading this race is now going to be Brady Motes in the number 1 Chevrolet. The Bass Tracker Boats machine of, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, John Andretti has gotten out there. I know we talked a little bit about the Kyle Busch machine out there in 84, but who I was actually looking for was the Kurt Busch machine. And that is the 97, and I am not showing a 97 out here running tonight, which is rather unfortunate, nor the 99 Roundup car. Should be the Durine boys. Unfortunately have not come down. Hunter Sr. working his way on down. Checking there, I think Hunter Sr. had a problem here on lap number 51. I think he was trying to come down into pit and could not slow that car down. That's exactly what I was talking about. Has to screech to a stop. That's not going to bring out a caution, which is what slings Hunter Sr. all the way down now to 18th and most likely a lap down, if not 2. Hunter Sr., this is going to be rough to get back. He's down 2. Conover now working his way down. Let's check and see who else. Matthew George working his way down. Nick Gillis is currently taking 4 tires, and he's working his way out of the pits. Still, Brady Motes remains on the lead lap here, staying out front. I think he's hoping somebody's going to slip up here, cause a caution, and then he'll be able to come down and pit, and everybody else will still remain behind him. Great job on fuel mileage here for Brady Motes. There was a couple of guys that penciled in a possible 60-lap run. Currently, Brady Motes is putting that to the test as he is getting ready to complete lap number 57. Sliding underneath the number 2 car out there, Rusty Wallace. And he's going to be shooting on around. Now, remember, that 12 car's got 4 fresh tires. A little radio up there. Brady Motes stays high and goes ahead and lets the Ryan Newman machine on by. Wow. All right, so far so good. I'm showing Christopher Heights out there. Showing currently with possible damage out there to the number 2. See if I can get some drone footage out there. Currently I'm showing a meatball flag divvied out here for the number 2 car. I don't know if he ran out of fuel on the way in. Showing he is maintaining speed, so that should not be the case. Black flag given out to Nick Ham. Nick Ham, yep, he's heading on down into pit road now. As he is way off speed. Yeah, and the worst part is, I think at 35 miles an hour, he will not be able to coast to his lane. We'll kind of hold our breath to see how he does. Still shuffle-ups happening out here on the track. Don't want to call exactly the positions yet until I know 100% where these guys are going to be, as Brady Moats working his way down pit road. It looks like he slows up just in time. So does Cody Reeder. That leaves us with the number 20 Home Depot machine. Not Tony Stewart. That's going to be Jacob Gladelick out there, the number 20 Chevrolet, taking over the lead. He is the last driver who is yet to pit. Dustin Kleba still is yet to pit, but I would say he doesn't count. He's still a lap down, though. He's looking to get one of those laps back. Gladelick on his way in. Very close. Last driver of Dustin Kleba coming on his way in. That should leave us back with Vincent Arthur back into the lead. He will reprise that number 1 spot as soon as he passes Gladelick here. In about 5 seconds. You see there the number 20 to the inside. Vincent Arthur's got it, and he's back under the number 1 position to start lap number 62. Not only but 0.8 of a second behind. Dalton Tucker is keeping him close. Does not want to let him go. Brian Jones, who had come in a lap earlier, sitting back now 7.25 seconds. Right now his Ford is not really treating him very well here tonight. Checking it back out there in the chat. And Atlantis is sitting here with friends, and you guys are loving this. Yeah, I guarantee you're loving it, with Brian Jones sitting there in another podium position. He finished 2nd last week. He's lining himself up to be 3rd this week. Still a ton of race left to go, as well. Only about 1/4 of this race is complete. Brian Jones starting to work his way around some lap traffic. Jacob Gladelick waiting so long. And that's where you weigh your options out there, where you're going to have that speed. Gladelick running about 2 seconds slower than his fastest lap is now coming back to bite him. Leaving Gladelick a lap down. I believe Matthew George. Yeah, Matthew George still on the lead lap here, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, I might be incorrect. I think right now Vincent Arthur is looking to chase down Jake Christenberry. Yep. Currently, that only leaves 7 drivers here on the lead lap. Just goes to show you the amount of distance between lap pits, as we've seen guys come in between lap 49 and lap 60 is when we started seeing pit road getting pretty exciting down there. The majority of them did come down between the 50 and 55 mark, which those guys are up toward the front. Jake Christenberry and John Scavanicki, the guys sitting 7th and 8th. They came down on lap 49, following Brian Jones down. Jay out there rooting on and saying these guys are doing some great racing here at Dover. Lap 67 is underway with Vincent Arthur still in the lead. 68 now starting as 67 is complete. 0.9 of a second behind says Dalton Tucker, now 7.6 seconds. Yep, that's marks it right there at the line. 7.6 seconds for Brian Jones. He's got a comfortable breathing room behind him, though, as Wayne Eastwood is sitting 2 seconds behind that, and another 8 seconds is Josh Conover. So an 18.5 second gap between 5th and the number 1 spot. That is crazy. Right now, that is a huge spread here, especially for playoff drivers. Let's check back in on John Scavanicki. I believe, yep, he's going to have a position taken from him here. That's the number 19 Ford of Cody Reeder. Cody Reeder now up to 9th as he continues to charge forward. 70 laps complete here at the MBNA America 400. Appreciate you guys joining us here at SimTrax Broadcasting. We're going to give it just a second here and give you guys a little bit of the sounds of the racetrack out here at the Monster Mile, and we will be right back. behalf of the SimTraX broadcasting crew, we'd like to thank you for joining us here at the National Oval Racing Association. This is a fine Monday night. We find ourselves here at the Monster Mile. Tons of interesting racing we've had out here and a lot of battles out on the track. And some of your favorite drivers have fallen backwards. Some of them have moved forward. What we haven't seen is the top three change at all. Vincent Arthur, Dalton Tucker, and Brian Jones remaining 1, 2, and 3. And what an impeccable job Vincent Arthur is doing out there. This guy seems almost untouchable out there as he runs around in the Jeff Gordon Chevrolet. Currently, that is him putting pressure on the 9th place driver here of Cody Reeder. Reeder and Kleba now have him pinched right now as Reeder sitting in 9th. Kleba has fought himself up to the 16th position, and all 19 drivers remain active out there on the track. Although some are a bunch of laps down, even Nick Ham is down 8 here on tonight. Right now, they still continue to stay out there and moving. Right now, no one giving up as we are caution-free here for 1/3 here of this race. As lap number 80 is underway, Cody Reeder still trying to fend off that 24, and Vincent Arthur getting bumped to the top. Checking back in there on the track. Didn't hear any physical contact between these two. Remember, this is originally what started it, divvying out a EOL penalty, an end-of-line penalty for Dustin Kleba, putting him a lap down, unfortunately. Now, Jake Christenberry goes ahead and smacks it off the wall there on turn number 4. That's to be expected here from Dover. A lot of guys are getting extremely loose on the way out. He's one of the drivers that pit there on lap number 49 as he creeps up on almost that halfway mark yet of doing it again. He's coming up very close as his car getting real loose. Kleba getting right behind him, trying to take some of the air off that rear spoiler. Vincent Arthur noticing that battle is happening behind him. This is going to allow Dalton Tucker to get closer than he has ever since the beginning here of this race. Dalton Tucker, his time to attack is now. He's going to be taking a look. Here we are riding along the Haviland Texaco machine as the 24 goes ahead and squirts on by the 48 machine. Good job there by Christenberry. Christenberry looked like he may have gotten ready to knock the wall there yet again, leaving Dalton Tucker as a sitting duck, but that does not seem to be the case here. Dalton Tucker still charging forward here down the backstretch, and Vincent Arthur almost at will able to pick up speed yet again, separating himself out to half a second, and the lead starting to grow. Dalton Tucker's got to figure out what that DuPont Chevrolet is doing. They may take that car apart here at the end. Cody Reeder was able to escape out there and get away from Vincent Arthur, but Arthur's going to be looking to chase him down again here. Right now, I've got to say, you got to love having a teammate out there. I'm not saying Dustin Kleba is the one we should tip our hat to out there, or that any of the Evernham Motorsports crew should be kind of bowing to. But right now, I guarantee you, if the 19 was able to squirt away here, that was because Dustin Kleba was able to get underneath of the 24 and then shut the door on him. So Kleba actually having to play as defender here tonight, which is huge, seeing that right now Dustin Kleba sits 3rd here in the points. Now, he was able to get a huge chunk of points there, finishing 3rd at New Hampshire. We weren't able to catch up with him there at the end of the race. I think he's got a few choice words he has to say about some of the drivers out there on the track. And I don't blame him. He's got to be pretty wound up here after the past couple of weeks he's had. Remember anything about Kleba, you guys remember wheeling all the way back to Pocono. This guy was leading the race by almost 14 seconds and then actually smacks into a lapped car that he thought was going to be moving out of the way and did not. The car actually held its line and pulled down in front of him, and he ended up rear-ending him, destroying his race. That would have definitely put him a lot closer to beating Dalton Tucker there for the regular season championship. But as we enter the playoffs, everything gets scrubbed and we go again. Brad Fulham and the Robbie Gordon machine coming on down. Currently that moves us back up to Dalton Tucker, now 0.6 of a second. Let's check in on Wayne Eastwood. Eastwood now looking to work on Brian Jones. Jones staying out front here. Let's take a look back at the CarQuest machine starting to pile on. Right now, if you see your driver falling back in the rankings, have no fear. They may be tire saving, and you definitely want to save it toward the end of the run. Here he comes, the 84 machine to the outside. Right now, Brian Jones gets a boatload of that CarQuest machine to the outside. Jones saws them off, and here it comes. There's a nudge. 84 machine here of Wayne Eastwood. Can't blame him for any of these moves. Good move there to the inside. Brian Jones seeing if he can hold that line. Fends him off. Right now, the Expel Ford holding on tight. He's the only Ford here in the top 5. Definitely getting outnumbered, though. Wayne Eastwood taking another peek. Brady Motes working back there, I believe, on Guileless. Currently has checked back there. Brady Motes makes quick work there of the number 12 of Nick Guileless. Brady Motes now up to 6th. He's going to continue charging forward. Let's check back in on Brian Jones, as Wayne Eastwood may have had a run. Hopefully he hasn't run out of steam. I like seeing the battle rage on. No, that definitely gives Atlantis King out there a little bit of something to grip onto, especially the edge of the seat. And there was a possibility of seeing that number 45 get a boatload of damage there to the back, but it did not. Checking back in there to see if we can get a little bit of our chase drone cam out there. And the number 45, spick and span, nice and clean. There you go, there's your joke. Pun for Expel there. Moving on to Wayne Eastwood. Eastwood currently seeing the lapped car of Hunter Sr. behind him. And everybody getting nice and spread out, nice and calm. Currently, Vincent Arthur still only sitting about 0.6 of a second. I would wonder if Dalton Tucker's got anything up his sleeve here. Both these guys pit back on lap number 50 if they wish to go on again. 5 laps and they should be pitting again. I'm wondering if Brian Jones is going to be looking to see if he wants to pit early like he did before, seeing he did not get any gains. It actually cost him time. He was back 7 seconds coming back out once we got everybody reshuffled back there on the track. Currently, he is 11.5 seconds off pace. We'll see if that continues on. All right. Let's check back in on Wayne Eastwood is Dalton Tucker's only 0.5 second behind Vincent Arthur. If we're looking to double it on down, Brian Jones should be pitting in 2 laps. We'll see if he decides to come down. The only person to re-pit here was Christopher Heights. He is currently sitting down pit road as we speak. And Brad Fulham, our first retiree of the night, the 31 machine, has taken her on back to the garage. He made it 87 laps here tonight before the singular wireless machine threw in the towel. Only making his 78 laps as Christopher Heights as he sits down into pit road for the last 7 minutes. We'll hold our breath there and see if that continues. John Scavanicki will be joining Brian Jones if they decide to pit at the same time. I expect them to try to push this out about another 5 to 6 laps and come on down. As Vincent Arthur's going to try it first. Vincent Arthur works his way on down. Brian Jones looks like, yes, he's going to commit. Stay to the outside. He's going to stay on the track. That moves Brian Jones up to second. Dalton Tucker now leading the race. Tucker could use leading the lap here. As the Expel machine looking underneath Scavanicki. As the 84 of Eastwood, watch Eastwood try to push his way on through. Dalton Tucker now coming down into pit. 45 machine trying to be super careful here. And the worst part about this, yes, this will give Brian Jones the lead here, and he does. Leads lap 100, finishing out lap 101 here. He gets it on. Wayne Eastwood sitting right behind him. As I was saying earlier, the worst part about this is that Brian Jones wants to pit. He's got to be careful. Wayne Eastwood getting into his back bumper there. Looks like he radios up Brian Jones, letting him know he's coming down. Now Wayne Eastwood. Going to be coming on down, excuse me, going to be staying out, I'm sure, coming on down next time. Dalton Tucker and Ryan Housden have visited down into pit road, already working his way back out. Dalton Tucker. Now, Dalton Tucker with some sort of speed here. He's got to pick up the pace. That is going to be our new leader. Once we get back under pitting strategies here, Vincent Arthur may retain, and that's going to drop Dalton Tucker off by about 1.6 seconds by the time he gets back up to speed. Dalton Tucker's difference is only 1 lap here. Brian Jones has got to hurry up. Left side tires going on. 15 seconds, extremely slow there in the box. Brian Jones with 15 seconds, looking at our Rainbow Warrior out there with a 14.5. That's going to give him another half a second over top of that 45 machine. Let's check back in on Nick Geilis. Geilis starting to try to reel in Moats. Moats is sitting about only a second in front. Moats was able to hang out there all the way to lap 60. Only person to go farther than that was Gladelick, and he went to 61. Great moves here so far. Wayne Eastwood, who pit back on lap number 51, extending his time out on the track. Best time of the 23:17. His last time of a 24:55. As Hunter Sr. works his way on down. This will be his second visit here of the night. Conover trying to hold it in close here. Expect Conover to come in here pretty soon. He pit on 55. I think everybody's starting to think that if this one ends up going green the entire way, they've got to consider some options here. Here's Vincent Arthur coming up on Josh Conover. Vincent Arthur trying to make headway here. He's got to get around Eastwood to go ahead and get one of his laps back. At the speed right now, Vincent Arthur's going 23:38 was his last lap. 23.5 and 24.5 by Wayne Eastwood, so easily a second faster. Piece of cake there for Vincent. Around he goes. That's going to bring up Ryan Housden, sending Housden to the outside. Housden will be able to get the speed and wrap on around Dalton Tucker. Noticing he's got to make the pass. Eastwood still remaining out there on the track. Does give him, I believe, around about 58 laps since the last time the 84 Chevrolet pit. This should be it. Yep, he's going to throw it in. Oh, can't get it woed up. Eastwood, that's going to cost him 3 seconds, 3.5 seconds. Conover still charging ahead. So Geilis, he works his way on down into pit road. Watch Conover to be hard on the brakes here so he can make that cut. And he does. Well done there by Conover. Eastwood, he unfortunately breaks. Comes on down into pit road. Wayne Eastwood missing it there. That's going to get him in some trouble. Brady Moats. Now, per Brady Moats and his pit strategy, we're going to be looking at Brady Moats and Cody Reeder and Jacob Gladelick going past the 120 mark before they come in. I would say I don't think that's really the best, seeing that Vincent Arthur is on the lead lap. Dalton Tucker, Matthew George are on the lead lap. Matthew George, though, has yet to pit. He pit back on lap 55. Here we go. Matthew George working his way on down. Oh, I think Wayne Eastwood has run out of fuel. as he creeps and creeps and creeps, just trying to get it. He's so close. Holy cow. Boy, I tell you what, he overshoots it. He's going to be kicking himself because he can't get backwards. So Wayne Eastwood running out of fuel. And that is why it was imperative that he makes it into pit road. Missed it. Had enough for one more lap. And then ekes it in. Alright, we've got a new person out there. Stella Strawberry. Hello. Welcome here to the MBNA America 400 here at Dover. Monster Mile being definitely an excellent race here so far. And I'm excited because in 4 laps, we will have every driver, just about every driver, has come down into pit road twice tonight under green flag for 4 tires and fuel, and we have been green flagged this entire race. Right now, for anybody who tunes in here and knows anything about NORA, the National Oval Race Association, this being the Gen 4 League, this is a mind-blowing race right now that we are green the entire way. The number 20 car of Jacob Gladelick ducks on off, gets out of the way. Boy. Love to hear what they said on the radio to make him jerk all the way down to the bottom like that. Gladelick hit on 61. Currently, as he's running 25.5-second laps. Right now, the number 20 needs to come down into pit road. Currently, he is running a second slower than the leaders of Brady Motes. So he has obviously cooked those tires off. The Brady Motes, Cody Reeder, and Vincent Arthur sitting 1, 2, and 3 currently. Dalton Tucker is sitting 4th. Jacob Gladelick is 5th. And that moves us to Brian Jones, who's a lap down. Dustin Kleba, who's a lap down. Conover a lap down. Really got to give a round of applause out there to Dustin Kleba. Looks like he is making it back. Still needs to pit, though. I think everybody's praying on a caution as Brady Motes is coming on down. Brady Motes is coming on down. This should signal Cody Reeder, but it does not. Cody Reeder stays out. Vincent Arthur retains the lead. So Vincent Arthur gathers the lead back up here. Gets himself in front by half a second over top of Dalton Tucker. Dalton Tucker pitting 1 lap later. You see the number 9 of Dustin Kleba coming on down. As Cody Reeder's falling backwards. Crazy race this is. Brady Motes working his way out of pit road. 15.3. A lot of slow pit times here tonight. Jake Christenberry had a 14.5-second pit stop. Josh Conover with a 14.32. Times like that, I don't see anybody drinking what's on his car to make that kind of speed. Right now, check out Conover here. Although Conover is a lap down. Got to get around Vincent Arthur here. Oh, cow. I think that brings us to look, I think that's only our top 3 drivers on the lead lap. Yeah, Brian Jones is in danger of going a lap down. Yep, working his way on down in the pit. see, I believe that should mark everybody has come down into pit. Yes, they have. Christopher Heights out there in the Rusty Wallace Ford. Still yet to return back to the race, 18.5 minutes. And Nick Ham, last time he was down in the pit, over 2.5 minutes, he sat down in pit road. Let's check back in on the track where Vincent Arthur leads Dalton Tucker over half a second. And then almost 20 seconds back, we find Brian Jones. Josh Conover sits in that 4th spot. As Conover starting to make headway here on Brian Jones. Just over 2.5 seconds before they meet each other. Nick Gillis is sitting in that 5th spot. Jake Christenberry is in 6th. Another 1.6 seconds back sits Brady Moats. 5 seconds back we find Hunter Sr. 3.5 back from that is Ryan Housden. And 1.25 is the 43 Cheerios machine of John Scavanicki. George to the bottom. Finally getting some passing out here as 2 drivers have finally linked up and found each other. Matthew George making the pass. Here's Christenberry. Christenberry about to be passed by Brady Moats. Holy cow. Well, like Christenberry was riding the brakes there. As Brady Moats shoots up to now 6th. Is underway here. Got our eyes set on Brady Moats. First caution here of the night. The 24 car is out of shape. This is going to be huge here for the track and all the drivers on it. Vincent Arthur bringing the guys here to the line. Dalton Tucker will be 2nd. Brian Jones is going to have a chance to catch up. Boy, is he lucky he's on the lead lap. Not sure currently if there was any trouble out there on the track. Vincent Arthur we saw getting loose out there. I don't know if he was doing any wreck avoidance. Well, the 19 underneath. So it looks like Cody Reeder tries to sneak underneath here of the 24. 19's got a heck of a run. He's got the angle. Yeah, and you almost see like the 19's trying to break it here. Hitting the brakes hard. I think the part that gets me is right here. Dalton Tucker. Quick thinking. Back to the right. Slides underneath. All right, that's going to heat up pit lane. As Vincent Arthur's going to come down, I'm sure 4 tires fuel and a damage check from his machine. As yes, there is damage to the left rear. Will that cost Vincent Arthur some speed here tonight? Some trouble with downforce may be happening. We are taking a look. That drone footage is showing a split. And we can see into the interior of the trunk area. See what happens to Cody Reeder here. We'll get the drone footage back out on the 19 Taurus. It looks like that Ford Taurus has got some front nose damage here. Right now, all is well. We'll see how this all shuffles up and puts guys back on what lap. I will say with pit stops, this is going to kind of shuffle everything up a little bit. Jake Christenberry, yep, thinking the best of it, coming down into pit road here. Definitely want to squeak out an extra lap of fuel if possible. And drivers getting the wave around. I think Ryan Housden has been told by race control that he is the first one on the inside line. Inside line does mark all the drivers that are a lap down to give the opportunity for them to race it out here. That should give us a few more drivers here. Unfortunately, from Hunter Sr. on back. I think this is going to still remain keeping them a lap down, though, as they are not going to be able to pit. Only drivers here on the lead lap able to pit. Start with Nick Giles. Got these guys all the way back to Cody Reeder. And here on the lead lap. Pace car working its way on by. Dalton Tucker's got to be smiling at the amount of damage he sees on the 24. That's exactly what he wants to see. Got to admit, first caution here of the night. Yep, first caution of the night gets us a little mixed up here. See where this ends up crashing a couple of these guys. Wayne Eastwood unable to recover. Eastwood now sitting all the way down in 16th. We're starting behind Ronnie Norman out there. Yep, Dustin Kleba in his own realm of drivers. I think the farthest he can go is up to the Jake Christenberry area. Get back on one of the lead laps out there. Pace car still remains out there on the track. I don't know if they're reviewing the penalty here or if there's going to be a penalty for somebody heading to the back of the pack with the contact there with the number 24. Pace car lights are off this time by Cody Reeder. Yes, has been given an EOL penalty to the back of the line. See his black flag working his way on down into pit road. So that's going to hurt for Mr. Reeder. So he's going to come down, pit. I want to hurry up, though. So, with Vincent Arthur, Dalton Tucker, and Brian Jones are guys who've been on the lead lap most of the night. Fortunately, Brian Jones almost gets to restart here, as he was only about 3.5 seconds from going a lap down, only leaving Vincent Arthur and Dalton Tucker on the lead. And fortunately, a caution does come out as the pace car lights return back on, as they still continue to fight this one out. Cody Reeder sitting in his pit box. Might want to hurry up here. 40 seconds, 42 seconds. And Cody Reeder's going to be going down another lap. So that only leaves Brian Jones out there with the Evernham Motorsports guys. The only driver on the lead lap who's going to be trying to collect some ownership points, especially out there for the owner standings. right now, this is going to be huge. See if he can come away with something here. Three biggest names here in the National Oval Racing Association is Vincent Arthur, Dalton Tucker, and Brian Jones. They'll be getting the restart here. Notice how everybody's starting to coil up on that outside. Getting ready. Green flag back out. So leading lap 138 all the way through is going to be Vincent Arthur getting us with 139. Dalton Tucker able to quickly get in front of Ryan Housden, and he is already half a second behind. Ken Kleba out there saying it looked like Vincent Arthur may have come down. We can possibly review it a little bit later here in the run. I'll make a note of it so we can take a quick peek at the caution back there that we saw with Vincent Arthur and see if he did come down. I don't think so, but if you guys do have a question, we can definitely go back and check. We do have a couple clumps of drivers that will be racing it out with one another. 1 through 6 are going to be racing it out amongst each other. It looks like then it's going to be Hunter Sr. all the way back, I believe, to Matthew George. Should be our next clutch of drivers. Then after that, it'll be Ryan Housden. He'll be battling out with drivers all the way to Jake Christenberry. That was black flagged here. And looks like the front nose is ripped off here of the 48 machine. That didn't take long. Jake Christenberry heavily damaged. And it'll be in a few tussle-ups out there. During that caution, you guys may have wondered what took so long. Turns out Cody Reeder was given an end-of-line penalty, but he ended up taking the wave around. Unfortunately, he does not get the wave around when you are given the EOL penalty. I would question if that EOL penalty is earned. And I think that's kind of what Ken Kleba out there is questioning a little bit. That how when Cody Reeder looked like he had a full send there, and holy cow, the shot to the wall for Ryan Housden. Ryan Housden's race is over. Looks like Ryan Housden and I believe Brian Jones had made contact with one another. I do not believe they're battling for position out there. Checking on the 45. Tons of damage here. This may do it for the expel machine, as it looks like the right front tire might be flat. What a hit. All right, let's go ahead and take a look back at what happened here. Here was the battle. Oh, Housden's a little bit loose. Jones up into him. Oh, and Jones into the wall. I'm wondering if it broke the tie rod when he hit him. Because it looked like Brian Jones was going to be able to survive that. Here's a higher look. Housden loose, Jones into him. And what happens to Jones? Why is he breaking loose here? Right there. Yeah, you see the wheel turn left, and then it just straightens out and slams into the wall. Absolutely horrible here for Brian Jones. I guarantee you, the Jones house is getting lit up now. See if we can see anything different here. Yeah, it looks like everything's okay with him up till this point. Ah, right front tire's locked up. See it? It's not even rotating. Right there. So this is what causes Brian Jones to grate the wall with some force. Okay. 45 down and out here. We'll see if the 45 ends up entering. Entering the infield car care center. He's going to be down there for a while. His night is most likely over. Pace car is off. And I have not forgot about you out there, Ken. We will definitely take a peek back at what happened there with Vincent Arthur on the first caution. We'll tumble around out there and see if anything's different. Now with a quick pit stop there, 9.67 out there by Dalton Tucker is able to give him the lead over top of Vincent Arthur. As they run underneath the bridge there at Dover. Don't even think about it, you can't get seats. We break under our 100 lap mark. 90 laps left to go. Brian Jones, heavily damaged. Heavily damaged. I'm still at a loss of words here for the 45. He had a heck of a run here tonight, and that's going to undo it. Unfortunately, Brian Jones was sitting as our second place driver out there. He will not be holding on to that. I'm hoping he'll be lucky enough to end up with the top 7. Playoffs around this time of year, it was all about consistency. It wasn't just about wins. See LJ out there doing the angry screams. But this now changes everything here with Vincent Arthur now being in second place. Dalton Tucker is finally going to get the fresh air to the nose of his car. Right now, he wants to maintain the points lead, and he will if he can hold on to this for about 86 more laps. What a race. Well, 2 cautions have flown out here tonight. One out there with the Cody Reeder and Vincent Arthur issue, and the one now with Ryan Housden and Brian Jones. Great race here so far. 0.8 of a second. Vincent Arthur, yeah, here we go, right on time. Vincent Arthur now starts to blink, has lost his packets. There he is. Returns back to the track. Right now, Dalton Tucker was kind of chuckling at that one. He thought he might have a 1.2 lead, 1.7 second lead. He does not. Dalton Tucker able to run his race now. Vincent Arthur will now be playing chase. Check back in on our 13th place driver here of John Scavanicki. Looking to get around Wayne Eastwood. for Eastwood down a bunch of laps here because he ran out of fuel on his pit stop. The worst part was it took him a minute and 50 seconds to get in and out of pit when average time sits about 50 seconds. So it cost him an entire minute, which is enough to put him a couple laps down. Appreciate you guys joining us here at the National Oval Racing Association. It is not too late if you want to come out here and drive with these guys during the playoffs. 19 drivers is what we have on the track. Our lucky number here at SimTraX and at the NORA Racing League is 28. So we'd like to see about 10 more drivers get back out there onto the track and race this out. Definitely put the pressure on these guys, showing them that what you can do. Think you can do it, you can find the National Oval Racing Association out there on iRacing and qualify for the next race. Guys you'll be talking to out there are Brady Moats and Josh Conover. As this race is starting to wind down for the MBNA America 400. 240 laps of what we're racing here tonight. 160 laps about to come for a completion here with Dalton Tucker into the lead. You see Dalton Tucker there gracefully getting close to the wall, exiting 3 and 4. Definitely is handling that turn. 3 and 4 a lot better than he is handling 1 and 2. Look at the turn exit. There we go. Look how close Dalton Tucker gets that wall. Maybe slide a piece of paper between there. Here we go. Dalton Tucker. Here's the exit of turn 2. Man. One buck off to the side through 3 and 4 here. Watch how he is just able to gracefully roll it on up. Right there. Nice. Nice and close. All right, Jay, you were out there watching your turn to get that close to the wall without touching. Extremely close there. Dalton Tucker on the roll. Vincent Arthur sitting second. Josh Conover third. Brady Moats fourth. Nick Gillis out there in the number 12 machine. Now, Nick Gillis has been having a very, very, very troublesome year. He has been hating his life or his racing career here since he's gotten behind the wheel. Currently, he holds in 13, participating in 23 races out of the 27 we have run. And he has been doing nothing but battling and battling and battling to keep that car all together. Nick Gillis has only had a couple of top 10s this year. Right now, he is lining himself up for his first top 5. That should be pretty exciting. Jay out there saying he's going to drop the hammer. All right. Fantastic. I'll see if Miss King is still out there. Hopefully she can give us a checkup on Brian Jones out there. Jones still remains in pit road and in his box for the last 9 minutes as Ryan Housden and Jake Christenberry have retired for the night. Christopher Heights will not return. 41 minutes in the box and he couldn't get her back together. Guarantee you Ryan Housden not feeling real happy about how his race went, especially catching another driver. Talking to Ryan Housden a couple of times, you know, he is feeling awful about the number 45 being wiped out. We felt the same there with Vincent Arthur during the Richmond race there at the very end of the season. Vincent Arthur, though, does hold the second spot out here. Nick Gillis has the only Ford in the top 5. Dalton Tucker now leading this one. Vincent Arthur getting a taste of his own medicine as Dalton Tucker is out front. Now, I would question here that when Dalton Tucker did come down into pit on lap 146, the same time that Vincent Arthur did, looks like only a couple of tires were taken by Dalton Tucker out there, as Vincent Arthur had taken all 4. Will this come back to bite Dalton Tucker later in his run? So currently a 2-tire stop there for Dalton. I would say if they threw on a set of right side tires and a full tank of fuel and threw them back out there, that may be a decent call here for the 42 Chevrolet. I just don't know if this is going to outlast his race. Looking at 146, if he is able to come down 50 laps, that puts us at 195. And then he should be able to make it to the end of the race after that. So may want to pit a little bit early, a little bit later. Right now, I guarantee you Dalton Tucker is kind of tumbling around out there with his crew, asking when he should come down and pit. And they may be throwing their hands up, telling him, don't worry about it. Finish 20 more laps and we'll discuss it then. So Dalton Tucker still remains in the lead by 1.5 seconds. 2 seconds over Josh Conover. And just a hair under 5 for Brady Mose. Nobody actually really close out there. Hunter Sr.'s kind of creeping in here on Nick Gillis. As only our top 10 are on the lead lap. Matthew George, who's sitting currently 10th in the points, 10th on the track. Right now, maybe consistency is going to work out here. Matthew George, if he can finish this race, will be making some headway out there. Brian Jones, who looks like he will not be finishing the race here tonight, as he creeps over the 12.5-minute mark. Matthew George, 10th, as I'm looking at Wayne Eastwood coming on down into pit road. Angle here. Ken Kleba, if you are still tuned in, we do have a little bit of a moment here. I do want to take a peek at what happened for the Vincent Arthur Cody Reeder question that you had. We take a look. Here's Cody Reeder on the bottom. Yeah, and Vincent Arthur does look like he comes down, but they are saying currently that is Cody Reeder coming up. I have to say, I'm not going to believe that one. So maybe they'll go back and review this, why Cody Reeder was divvied the EOL. I mean, we could even splurge out there and say, is that Vincent Arthur's normal race line? Is to cut down here toward the end. Holds right about there, sits, and kind of squeezes right at the end to exit. But it's his job not to cut the guy's nose off. Cody Reeder was there. So, Ken, I may have to agree with you on this one. Watch the number 19, though. I can't say he dive bombs him. Remember, 19's on fresh tires. Fresh tires to the inside. Yeah, he's got a lot of smoke there. But when Vincent Arthur last lap was already cutting down at this mark, around the blue cone. So I have a hard time believing that he kind of stabbed it in there. All right, Matthew George is coming down pit road here. As one of our lead lap cars, he's coming down in the pits. Remember, honestly, Matthew George has only pit twice here. Stretching this one out a long amount of time. Let's check, as I believe Vincent Arthur has brought our third caution out here of the night. And I guarantee you that radio's getting loud. As the 24 machine, I think that just locked up his left front tire. Okay, and if I'm not mistaken, I see smoke. Yep, that's a blown engine. Vincent Arthur will be done for the night. Yeah, Ken Kaliba. Yep, not a problem, buddy. Not a problem. So, caution comes back out for the 24 car. Ouch. Shot to the wall here. All right. I don't know. That doesn't give us enough. I need more than that. We got to get back. Does Conover get in the back of him here? Whoop. Well, Ken, if you're tuned in right now, I guess the EOL should go to the number 8, right? Because the 24 is loose on exit here. Right there, you see the 24 already sliding. There's the contact with the 8. All right, let's see if we can... Wow. Come on, producer. Open your eyes, buddy. See if we can get a better angle of this. Yep, already breaking loose. So the 24's race is over. As he is down in the pit road and is already taking it back to the garage. You see Conover chiming in over the race. Come on. Ken, you took the words out of my mouth. So this is going to shuffle up our top 10. So consider that the number 45 has been knocked out. If Brian Jones can put that thing back together and lay some laps down, he should be able to pick up a couple of positions. If there's enough time, Brian Jones would have to get his car fixed here in about another 5 minutes to have enough time to get back out there. Conover trying to chirp in out there. As he came down to lap 181, he'll be sitting in the 7th position. Pace car heads on off. Dalton Tucker. Gonna get us back underway here. Lap 184 is underway. Excellent jump. Half a second before we can even get to turn number 1. Tires and fuel for most drivers. Checking back there in the pack. Matthew George, Wayne Eastwood divvied out black flags already. I think it was trying to get them for restart penalty there, but it looks like RC is reviewed and might go ahead and wave that one off. Good. All right, let's move on to Hunter Sr. As Josh Conover's chirping in, giving somebody some attitude out there. Right now, we are about to separate 3 wide here. Brady Mote's going to get squeezed in the center. Outside line is going to be Cody Reeder and the 40 machine. Off all 4 tires. No caution. How is that not a caution? The 40 of Hunter Sr. was off the ground. Thank you. Caution is out. Boy. I don't know about you guys out there, but I am ready to give race control a whole lot more leniency out there and a lot more authority of throwing some cautions out when you've got a guy that comes completely off the track. Up onto somebody's hood, onto the roof, and then comes back down sideways, and iRacing doesn't pull the trigger and call the caution. That was insane. Fortunately, Hunter Sr. looks like he will still be able to continue to race, though. Front end is missing, but 4 tires are still rolling. Absolutely mind-blowing here, guys. So I assure you, Hunter Sr. will be coming down in the pit road on our delayed caution. So excellent run here. This looked beautiful heading in to this turn, but the shot off the wall here. Yeah, it should have been Cody Reeder. This is him in the 19. Off the wall, 14 machine in the air. Comes back down, bumper disconnects. Nick Ham wearing the horseshoe. Oh my God, Nick Ham. How did he make that? How did he make that? All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a ride here with Nick Ham if possible. And I would love to know what he sees. This is during the caution here. What a move here by Nick Ham. How he saves it, though. Here it comes again. Inbound. That's how close he misses. Right here. Whew. And then the right front here with the 19. I think he just nudges him here. Clink. Nick Ham able to squeeze out of there. Great job. Well, the number 23, at least something can go right for him here tonight. Nick Ham has unfortunately been wheeling backwards. I think he's still about 8 laps down. And here in about 5 seconds, he's going to be passing Vincent Arthur, who's unfortunately taking it back to the garage. There we go. Nick Ham is now up to 13th. He'll be on the inside lane here. So Dalton Tucker will be getting us back to our restart yet again. Brady Mote's going to try not to get caught unaware. Now the race is restarting here. Right now, I would say if I were Brady Motes, I would be pushing Dalton Tucker. When you guys get straightened up there. So Cody Reeder will now get his deserved EOL penalty. Should be back underway here. Dalton Tucker, 42 Haviland machine, Brady Motes. Here we go, 50 laps left to go. A lot can happen in 50 miles as these guys wrap around the track at under 23 seconds a lap. Single file. Tucker, Brady Motes, Dustin Kleba. All right, let's roll back here. We see Jacob Gladelick battling it out with Nick Ham. Ham, remember, is down about 8 laps. Guileless gets on around him. Ronnie Norman. Norman is on the lead lap again. This is crazy. The opportunities these guys are getting here. Norman now up to 6th. Conover is sitting 7th there in the back. You'll see him creep into the screen. There he is. Conover squeaking on by. That goes ahead and moves Norman up to 5th. Great job here by the 39, normally driven by Kyle Rochelle out there, but I have not seen Rochelle in quite some time as he's out there running the 39 Scott Pruitt Chevrolet. And Conover now taking on Gladelick. He takes his Dale Earnhardt Jr. number 8, passing the Tony Stewart 20. Let's keep rolling on back here where we see John Scavanicki. He's getting around Nick Ham. The 43 charges forward now to 8th. Now taking another little peek here, moving up to the front. That's going to be Brady Motes here with Dustin Kleba. Motes has had on that 2nd spot. And remember, starting from the very last spot on the track, Dustin Kleba. He'll be now 3rd. Currently holding Brady Motes there. Motes wanted to rotate down, but he's not going to have that opportunity. Kleba Sits right behind. Currently pretty impressive. As right now the speed's creeping up. Around 176. Cleve's got plenty of room. About a quarter of a second behind him sits Nick Geilis. Geilis good on the short runs. Here we go. Notice that little speck way out there, about 3 seconds, goes to Dalton Tucker. I would say it'd have to be a freak accident to possibly take this one away from him. So here are our drivers sitting second, third, and fourth. Norman trying to make up some time here as he currently sits in the 5th spot. Conover sitting close behind. Bladelick 7th, Skavenicki 8th, Cody Reeder's 9th. Hunter Sr. with a front bumper missing is still out here charging along, 10th position for him. Let's check back in on Brady Motes again. We've got Dustin Kleba getting sideways. Loss of words here in the booth for SimTraX Broadcasting. Dustin Kleba gets sideways here. Caution only comes out because he is in reverse on the track here. And we're going to take a look. Brady Motes is who he is battling side by side. And we'll see if maybe we can get a little bit closer. I do want to see if I can get maybe a chase copter cam here, if possible. And it looks like, yeah, Kleba's loose all on his own here. No contact. Kleba's going around. He saves the race car, though. I expect to see him come down pit, 4 tires and fuel, and try it again. I know what you're thinking out there, Ken. Maybe Kleba ended up sliding sideways here. Here's another look. Yeah, no contact, breaking loose right there. And that's just what happens when you start getting a little bit of that side draft. Coming out at Dover, you got no room to run. And that ends up jamming you up. So you see Kleba, he's coming down into pit road. He's going to start pushing the number 40 here in just a second if he doesn't get a move on. So now we are starting to collect the cautions now. See how it goes. Short pit stop there for Brady Motes. 9.4 seconds. Everybody else looks like 4 tires and fuel. Extended stop here for Josh Conover. 30 seconds in the box. What is going on with the number 8? Extended time here. 8 still sitting down in the pit road. Hunter Sr., Cody Reeder, both sitting down pit road. Josh Conover, 51 seconds sitting in the box. Maybe trying to pull that right front fender out a little bit. He may have had some trouble earlier here in the race. Brady Motes will have the opportunity here in front with the pace car lights going off. Couple of wave rounds there. They're going to get back onto the lead lap. And Brady Motes will be sitting in the hot seat. Take a moment here, kind of soak in everything that is going on out there on the track. And we will be ready to go here at green flag. Love our pace car, but we like it when it's sitting down in pits a lot better. I love the way Brady Motes is taking that high line. This will give him the opportunity to get the takeoff that he is not going to get. Brady Motes only a quarter of a second lead. He was unable to sidestep the way Dalton Tucker normally does, and Tucker's going to be on him like white on rice. Currently, Brady Motes has got a mirrorful here of the 42 machine. Guarantee you right now, Brady Motes with that quick pit stop down there with 9.5 seconds. Taking a look back at that 42 car. Dalton Tucker going to triangulate this turn a little bit. Taking a look to the inside. Here it comes. Side by side, that's going to end up giving it up. Brady Motes goes ahead and lets him on by. Motes can't. Nope. See the front end lift off just a little bit there, and now Motes is kind of beating on the steering wheel. Wanted to go ahead and try to get him back, but could not. Wonder if any of that damage there to the number one right there on the nose is to blame. As Brady Motes falls off pace and now is rolling backwards, Dalton Tucker. Nose to the wind, he is gone. He's got to hold on for another 35 laps here. Brady Motes chasing Nick Gillis in one of his highest position finishes is possible for him tonight. I say he's looking at 35, 34 here at the line. Nick Gillis can hold on to this spot. Jacob Gladelick now up to fourth. A lot of our guys who normally finish in the back, nothing against them, but good. Looking at this, guys who end up finishing in the back are having an opportunity to finish up front here. Take a look, Gladelick does have 10 top 10s, 2 of them being top 5s. And Gladelick currently sitting in fourth. Definitely love to see it here. Brady Motes is losing ground here to Dalton Tucker. Hopefully that was our final caution here of the race. Dustin Kleba will be restarting there in 8th. Kleba's got a lot of work to do. I think his opportunity has slipped away from him here. There's Kleba. Kleba sitting right behind John Skavinicki here. I think right now Kleba's just looking to finish this race. 8th position is where he sits. Oof. Boy, almost a little deja vu there. Dustin Kleba last time on lap 198 almost does it again. Here on lap 210. Coming out of turn number 4, deciding to hang down low on that low line. And that back end of that car starts to skip out from under him. A lot better that time. Crosses to go ahead and get his 211th lap started. Dalton Tucker still out front by over a second. Brady Motes trying to fend off Nick Gillis. This is for the number 2 position here. Gillis is going to try to work really hard on him here. Remember, we haven't talked to Gillis all season here in the podium and in the booth. Gillis with his opportunity. Here's Gillis taking a look on the bottom. No can do. Brady Motes going to fend him off. It is quite impressive, the drivers of the National Oval Racing Association, to be able to change their racing line to combat what's happening out there on the track. You see a driver getting a little faster than you are, definitely able to pivot a different spot on the track. As you can see, Brady Motes saw Gillis taking a shot to the inside. Was able to go ahead and triangulate that turn and get back in front of Gillis as Gillis smacks off the wall. Gillis isn't starting to crumble here. Right now, the number 12. Trying to keep his head on straight and charge forward. Hardest part about seeing these drivers up front is when you get in this position, like Nick Gillis is in right now, the only thing he's looking at in front of him is that number 1 Chevrolet. Right now he's pretty excited, hoping to get a position where he can get around him here, but does not want to overdrive the car. He's got 25 laps left to go. Dalton Tucker, as you see, exiting right there at the top left of the windshield. And that is the distance that almost 2.5 seconds looks like. You wouldn't think that's it'd be that little of time, but that far of a distance. But it eyes do not deceive you here. So Nick Gillis getting a good run. Ooh, boy, that may have been a nudge off the wall there. Gillis trying not to fry the tires off the right side of this car, as he is getting super close to having an opportunity here on Brady Moats. Yeah, regardless, if Gillis can finish 3rd here, with him being out of the chase, this will be huge. I like seeing drivers that are not in the playoffs being able to tumble up here in the top 5. Nick Gillis actually being the only one in the top 5 that is not in the playoff points. You see Josh Connor with a little bit of wiggles there. Checking in on Matthew George, is currently sitting 9th. Cody Reeder, bit off pace here. Got 10 seconds before he can find Matthew George. Now 55 seconds was Cody Reeder's last pit stop. And originally, I mean, from inside, even in a broadcaster standpoint, I was looking at Brian Jones saying, man, that was going to be the only guy on the lead lap for Evernham Motorsports. And that is not the case. That actually flips completely around. Brian Jones is going to be finishing in the 15th spot. And both his teammates of Dustin Cleveland and Cody Reeder reside in the top 10 on the lead lap. So this is pretty crazy here how this race has gone, with a couple of cautions out there shuffling everything all up. 19 laps left to go here for Dalton Tucker. And this is all but over for him. Unless we end up with some sort of crazy tumble up here, where we look 3.5 seconds back to find Brady Moats, Nick Gillis, who sits 3rd, Jacob Gladelick 4th, and Josh Conover starting to come into the street. These 4 guys right here, admins here of the league. Ton of experience racing around with each other. Here's Conover to the inside of Gladelick. That's going to put Gladelick down to 5th. Number 20 had a shot, but drops it off the table. A little scrub to the apron there. Now Conover to 4th. Still hold our breath as less than 1/4 of a second between Gillis and Moats. 16 to go with Tucker still in the lead. Appreciate you guys joining us here for the National Oval Racing Association. This is SimTraX Broadcasting, getting ready to finish up the MBNA America 400 mile. We'll see how Miles, the concrete monster outside, who he holds next. Right now it's looking like the 42 Haviland machine will be next in his hand. Check back in on Matthew George. George looking for the 8th position. George getting ready to take a peek. Here's Gillis. Guileless under fire here by Conover. Conover's going to get him. Conover, quick pass there. The 12 going to try to see if he can pivot here and get on around. Guileless losing his opportunity. Get a top 3. Right now, Guileless would love a podium position finish, but let me tell you right now, points-wise, this is huge for Conover. Vincent Arthur, who's currently sitting 5th in the points, is down and out. Brian Jones, who's currently 2nd in the points, down and out. The number 30 of Kevin Ballmer, not here tonight. I mean, right now, this is huge here for Josh Conover. This is going to be a great points night for him, as he may be able to gain almost 3 positions here on the rest of the group. Doesn't seem like a lot, and still a far reach from Dalton Tucker on the points and on the track. Dalton Tucker leading in front of Josh Conover by 5.1 seconds. And Tucker just kind of meandering around the track here. So he is definitely trying to tick these laps away. Brady Moats getting caught up in some lap traffic here. That is Cody Reeder, who sits in 10th. Around they go. The 40 machine, Hunter Sr., who sits in the 11th. Look how fast these guys get going. Slinging out turn number 4, praying you keep it off the concrete wall and stay on the concrete racing surface. And not down on the asphalt, where it is on the apron. Dalton Tucker coming across the line here to mark 9 laps left to go. Ladies and gentlemen, we break under 10 laps to finish this race. Jacob Gladelick trying to hold it close here, as Nick Guileless is going to be under fire yet again. Brady Moats has had his time up in the front spot, sitting in 2nd for enough time. Josh Conover saying that's enough, bringing him to less than a quarter of a second. Somehow Conover seems to have a ton of speed and is laid off enough to attack later on here. These guys, best of friends out here, going to be bumping and nudging all the way to the end. Dalton Tucker coming across the line. 7 to go. There's Conover. Here he is to the inside. There's a nudge to Brady Moats. Knock, knock. Right now, expect that 8 machine here of Josh Conover to attack again. Yep, there's the bump. Nudge right there. Brady Moats is going to be going for a ride. Brady Moats saves it. And I think Moats has enough damage. That bumper's coming loose. Yeah, that thing is starting to break loose here. We'll see if it ends up coming off. Hopefully it does not. Getting pushed around. Moats now to 7th. Boy, Conover may have to owe him one for this. Let's look at that pass one more time. Moats was trying to block. Moats was trying to block. And he wouldn't let him have it. So he's going to pay for it. Moats currently holding down in 7th. 4 laps left to go. And it looks like I'll be talking to Josh Conover now. Checking for damage on the number 8 out there. Looks pretty solid. Yeah, even the right front fender's looking good on him. 3 laps left to go. Wayne Eastwood getting ready to make a quick pass here. This is for the 10th position, as he goes ahead and knocks Cody Reeder out of the way. Wayne Eastwood last time came down to lap 186. I think he definitely knows how far his car can go, as he tested that limit earlier here in the race. Eastwood had led a couple of laps, missed pit road, ran out of fuel. And unfortunately had to coast into the pit box. White flag here at the line. Monster Mile showing its beauty here as we watch Dalton Tucker go ahead and finish up the last bit of it. Currently the 42 Chevrolet. The one to beat here tonight. If it wasn't going to be the 24, it was going to be the 42, and Dalton Tucker across the line wins it. Absolutely mind-blowing here. As this guy now tops with now 7 wins on the year. This will be his 13th podium. What a race here for Dalton Tucker. Josh Conover coming in second. And Giles finishes third. Fantastic. Not sure if Giles is going to know what he has to do here. If you guys remember anything about last week, he marked 50 wins, is how many he got, 50 wins. And this will mark 51 here on the night. As he wraps around for his Polish lap here. Let's try to destroy the car a little bit. We will be excited to bring you guys the remainder here of this race. Fantastic one it's been. Definitely I would recommend sharing this one. This was an exciting race all the way to the end. Drivers you thought were going to win did not. Drivers getting knocked around, banged around, smashed up. We're able to come out on top. Let's go ahead and take a look at our unofficial results here for the night. Nick Giles, Ronnie Norman, John Skavenicki, and Wayne Eastwood. Drivers who are not in the playoffs. There's 5 of them here. Excuse me, 4 of them here in the top 5, or top 10. Finishing this one out. Boy, beautiful race here. Beautiful race. Dalton Tucker enjoying his time there in victory lane has finally entered in the winner's circle. Fantastic job. There's a quick little peek there of Miles down there at the bottom. All right, ladies and gentlemen, hang in there just a moment. We're going to find our top 3, and we'll kind of hash it out with them here. Alrighty, everybody. We catch up with our third place finisher here tonight, Nick Gillis. First time here in a podium position. You gained 8 here on the night here at Dover. Talk to me about your race.
Yeah, car felt great. There was a moment I cracked it up. It actually felt better for a little bit and then tightened up too much, so we got that fixed. But a war of attrition, if I would. A lot of those positions, probably about 4 of them-ish, might have been from just cars wrecking out in front of me. We'll take that. I mean, it is what it is. It's how racing goes. But we're here. I feel like I had at least a 6th, 7th place car, and just decided to keep my race as clean as I could. And I feel bad for getting into Josh at one point, but he recovered. So,
well, regardless, when we look all the way back at the beginning of this race, a couple of guys had taken themselves out. We see Kleba gets an EOL. We see a little bit of a tussle up there with Cody Reeder earlier in the race. And guys wrecking out, yet your avoidance helped get you through. This worked out very well. New Hampshire was kind of a toughie. We see Dover this time. We move on to Talladega, and we know how you are as a super speedway racer. How does it compare to a race like this?
This was a fight for my life, essentially. I have a usual hate-hate relationship with Dover. I normally pull it off after one lap, but ran the fastest lap in practice, and it felt good for all of practice. So I said, okay, we're going to give this a shot. And as the race went on, I had good pace, and the middle was kind of slow. I had decent pace at the beginning, and I had decent pace at the end, and that middle stretch wasn't there. But this is so different from, just hold it wide open as best you can and pray that somebody doesn't come across the nose or whatever. So I am looking forward to Dega. I was not expecting this, but it's a good result.
Yeah, no kidding, man. And we ask one last question here before I get your shout outs. Do you think you had anything for Brady?
Yes. I think if I could have, there were a couple times where I could have got a run, and I just kind of waited. I was waiting out the 2 tires that he took, and I think had it gone with Josh getting around him would have helped too. It's who knows, right? It's that big what if question. I think I did have a car right at the end for him, but I mean, we'll never know on it. So I'll take what I'm at, and I feel bad Brady's night ended the way it did.
Well, go ahead and give me your shout-outs, because I think Brady, if I take a peek on that little live screen, I think he's given Conover a piece of his mind here.
Yeah, big shout-out to you, what you do each and every week. We're so grateful to have you. Greg for race controlling, and, of course, all the other admins that put in their work week in and week out. And everybody else that showed up. We can't have this race if people don't show up. So big shout out there. And we are looking forward to counting down to the end of this year and hopefully into next year.
All right. I see you guys drumming up things for 2005. So you've already confirmed there will be another season, which is excellent. Nick Gillis, congratulations on your 3rd place finish, man. I'm excited I was able to be here, especially when you came in as a podium position.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right, everybody, that is going to be the number 12 of Nick Gillis, and that's going to go ahead and move us on to Josh Conover currently, who is down there, I guarantee it, defending himself over the pass on Brady Moats. Josh, we've talked a couple of times out there about making passes with some of your fine admins and, let's say, acquaintances out there on the track. They can cry all they want, but, as long as they're behind you, it's all good, right?
Yeah, that one car had that coming. He didn't think I would do it. And, I had a good run. I was there. He came down. That's what he gets. Karma going, bite him.
Well, we're talking a little bit about karma out there in the chat. I know Ken Kleba, I'm sure, is a little biased out there, but we took a peek back at one of the cautions out there with Cody Reeder and Vincent Arthur. Now, Cody Reeder was on 4 fresh tires. Some trouble kind of came about. Was this a race control call out there of who ended up with the EOL, or is this going to be under review?
I mean, Greg called it. I think he put it on Reader. I think that's when I messaged you about like him with the wave around and like all that stuff.
Yep.
I haven't looked at it yet, so I don't even know actually what happened. But like I said, yeah, the call-in race by Greg was on the 19. Like I said, I haven't looked at it, so I really don't have an idea.
That's fine.
But yeah, now you see what happens. Just to kind of change subject again, when the one car trusts his process too much, it bites him.
Well, we went over it a couple of times during the run, and it looked like Brady Moats was trying to block. I mean, he did come down almost half the track, and looks like the driver from DEI here was not going to allow that to be the case, and around he went, unfortunately.
Oh, he was talking smack the entire run. I was making fun of him because he was holding Nick and Gladich up, and he told me to shut my mouth and stay back in fifths. And I was, pushing extra hard to get up to him, and then I got to him, and he told us all to be quiet so he can focus and keep the 8 car behind him. And then, I got to him, and then, like I said, he kind of cleared himself, and he even admitted, he was like, "Oh, I was on next gen mindset. I thought I could just throw the block and be all right." And then I was like, "Oh wait, we're not in the next gen anymore."
Bro, yeah, you can't do that. That was a pretty rough run. Well, hopefully the two of you guys are able to work it out, because you guys work as great teammates when it comes to Talladega. Next week, that's where that's going to be, and I would say this is the beginning of Speed Week, when things get a little bit dicey out there. Josh, how do we kind of work this out, get ready for Dega, and kind of put this race behind us?
With Brady and I, we're it's all fun. I mean, obviously, he's always struggled at Dover, so this was a career night for him, really. Even just leading laps through the pit cycles and all that. Him wrecking and finishing, I think it was 8th or 9th, was still his career best finish here. So obviously he wanted better, but I'm sure he'll still take it. And he was laughing so hard when it happened, because, like, again, we're just so close that he knew as soon as he came across my nose, like, he started laughing and like crying in Discord because he was laughing so hard, and his car was just that broke. So now we'll be good. We'll be ready to go. Hopefully we can get old Mikey, aka Cody Hype, back out here. He helped me in Daytona for the July race to win that one. So if we can get old Mr. Mikey Height out there and get all the 3 DEI cars working, we get up there with the Hendrick cars and the Hendrick guys. And normally we're pretty good, and everybody's good plate racing. I think every plate race we've had so far this year, I think there's been 3 so far. We've had different guys leading, different guys controlling the race, and hopefully you'll see more of the same next week.
Wow. All right, buddy, go and give me a shout outs here.
You for the broadcast. Everybody that ran, I think it was 19, took the green. I think I say it a little bit more lately, but it's a long season. I know we had to vote for 05 to kind of split it, and believe it or not, actually the longer season is winning the poll right now. So long season, so I appreciate the guys that stick it out and run, most of the races or all the races, whatever they can. I know life comes first, so hopefully Dega next week we get a couple of the other guys back that have been missing in these last couple, and we put on a good show. I know everybody loves plate racing just because it's obviously an equal playing field. So yeah, hopefully we have a decent field and put on a good show. And if there's anybody out there watching, I know I put on the broadcast and was looking at the comments, but I know we got Wayne. I think he said he came from one of your broadcasts. So if there's anybody else out there that wants to come run, wants to come in a team, we got plenty of teams actually still open for 04, and then obviously into 05 we added a couple, and plenty of rides open. We got plenty of time left to get in and get some votes for 05 on some changes, and looking forward to Dega.
Excellent. Josh, appreciate you, buddy. I did mention during the rest of the broadcast how to reach out to you guys and get them out here on the track. I said our lucky number is probably about that 28 mark, and once we start creeping over 30, that's where things start getting real messy. But I would say 28 is probably a good number. But Josh, appreciate you, buddy. Hopefully we don't get over 40 at Talladega. That's gonna be a mess. It's just gonna look like scrambled eggs out there, I think, by the end of it.
If we do. It'd be cool. I mean, for sure. I know I think because I post the entry list every week, I think even right now, like I said, I know it's, obviously a long season. I think we still have 42 rides filled. So, if everybody, their days and stuff work out and they're not so, busy and whatnot, with obviously personal life and stuff that comes first, we could easily have, 40 cars. So just got to have all the stars align and, get everybody out here. And even tonight, I mean, Dover's normally not a good race as far as going green, but I forget even how long our first run was. But I was pleasantly surprised, and I thought, I mean, obviously besides Vinny and Dalton running away with it, I thought the race for third between Brian and Wayne and myself, and even Reeder and Brady was good. So yeah, I mean, like I said, we got 40 plus rides still filled, but there's still, I think, 15 or 20 more that are open. So yeah, well, I'll try and recruit on Facebook and see what happens, I guess. And if not, we'll get guys in here for 05 next year. Cool.
All right, Josh, good luck to you out there, buddy. And I believe 131. We went 131 laps under green, all the way before we got our first caution involving the Cody Reeder and Vincent Arthur incident. So go back and review that. And Josh, good luck to you, and we'll see you at Talladega, buddy.
Appreciate you as always. And also, real quick, just to finish it, Pat, I do want to apologize to Vinny. I know we got together. I think he said he got loose, and I was just right on him, and I was kind of feathering the throttle and ended up getting into him and basically killing him. But obviously didn't really plan on that. I wanted to actually try and pass him cleanly and try and actually make the pass for once. And I got into him. Hopefully we'll be good for Dega, because I know him and I are pretty stout combo ourselves at these plate tracks. So hopefully we'll have a team meeting and be on the same page. But like I said, appreciate you as always, Pat, too, and hopefully it was a good show.
Yep. All right, Josh, good luck out there, buddy.
Appreciate you.
All right, guys, and I know you when you tuned in, and we took a look at the Josh Conover Vincent Arthur incident that ended up happening actually back on lap 180. Vincent Arthur actually ended up breaking loose, and when Vincent Arthur broke loose, that's when Josh Conover did get into the back of him and ended up tearing up his race car out there. But somebody who went out there just about unscathed here all night is going to be the number 42 of Dalton Tucker. Leading the points, leading the race, but not the entire time. Dalton Tucker, once again, you won last week. Although Brian Jones led the majority of that race with 57, you only led, I believe, about 30 or so. You ended up winning at New Hampshire. Well, it seems the same for now. As soon as you got out in that clean air, Dalton, it looked like you were just untouchable, and away you went.
Yeah, it's at a track like this, it definitely makes a difference, just being able to get down and turn and kind of run the line that you want to. And I knew we didn't have that many laps on tires, and I was just hoping Vinny didn't take two. And it worked out great. Car felt great. I mean, it drove amazing, especially with clean air plus just track position like that. And I hate to see all the other chase guys kind of have issues. I know Dustin worked his way back up, and it's one of them weird races at the end. Caution comes out, and it just breeds more incidents.
Well, you guys went over 130 laps under green. I would say don't really, hang your head that, chase drivers are having problems. I know the gentleman sitting in second, Brian Jones, he actually finished 15th tonight. When we look at Dustin Kaliba, he finished 5th, so he's going to be getting pretty close. Vincent Arthur finished 14th. Let's just say this is your high time. There's nothing saying this is going to be a cakewalk for Talladega. I mean, there's a lot of guys going to be pushing for the number one spot, or just going to be trying to sit in the first two rows and try to wait it out to the end. Dalton, where do you try to find yourself at a track like that?
Yeah, it's going to be... I don't know if there's a right answer, because it's going to be kind of tricky. You don't want to run in the back and then finish back there, but then you don't want to be caught up in something. So I don't know. It's just going to have to depend where I qualify. And if I'm up front, probably try to stay there. And if I'm in the back, probably just try to wait out the big one if there is a big one.
It seems almost the big one. We normally aim for somewhere about 13th to 18th is normally where we see somebody fumbles. I've noticed here lately in the Gen 4 cars, the wrecks are starting from the 8th place on up, you know, it seems to be really the danger zone. Everybody pushing for a little bit extra, and almost when you get that breath of fresh air on let's say the outside line, the car loosens up and these guys just don't know what to do with it. Is the design of the car going to give these drivers or you any problems out there? Maybe some nose to tail pushing?
It definitely could. I think the key to the race is just be around people that you know, and you know how they race, how they push. I know I've talked with DEI guys and also my guys, and I don't know if we're going to work together, but we'll at least be together as a team. And whether I'm with them or my guys, it's a good feeling knowing that you're with your people that you know. And I think that's just the key for Dega. Wow.
Well, the key to Dover was obviously out front, great restarts and fresh air. Your quick pit stop there, I believe it was back on lap 180 or 143, definitely switched your race around, put you out front, and then all of a sudden the 24 was looking at your rear bumper. And what an excellent job you did here tonight. Is there anything you would have changed?
No, I mean, those long runs where I was kind of running Vinny down. I knew we were so close, it's hard to say who was faster, who was second fast, but I would catch him at the very end of a run. So I knew I needed to get in front of him somehow. When the caution came out, I knew, all right, we've got about 10 laps on these tires. Let me just take right sides, hope he doesn't. We got single file restart, so I'll have the front, and maybe I can just get a gap and kind of work my way away from him. And luckily it worked out that way, and some other things happened to definitely help that, and it worked out exactly how I planned. And usually at Dover and these tracks that are very high intensity, and it doesn't work out like that normally, but we got a lucky one tonight. Just, I'm not gonna say it was easy, because it's never easy running in this league with really anywhere you are on the track. So, but this one was definitely a little more stress-free, especially at the end.
Wow. You know, I've got to admit, it's really great seeing what you guys are able to do, and just a little bit of strategy change out there can change the entirety of the race. Dalton, go ahead and give me your shout-outs once again here, brother. I know we've gotten it from you, I believe, 7 times here so far this season, and this now marks, I believe, win number 51, if I'm not mistaken. So, awesome job here, buddy. Go ahead and get ready for Talladega.
Yeah, unfortunately, Josh had to correct me, and he says last week was 49, so this one's technically 50. And I told him I wasn't doing another burnout. Dover's too hard; it's too sloped. I can't do it. So he's we're just gonna stick with last week was 50, and he's just gonna have to be good with it. So, but as always, just the guys here. I mean, it's a great league. I hope we can get some more guys for next season and have a little bigger fields. And it's tough, because once you get out of the points battle, and it's hard to get motivated to come, but hopefully we can do that for next season. Big shout out to my team, we had 4 of us tonight, and anytime you can have 4 guys in your team, it's always that much more fun. And honestly, just glad the race went the way it did. I hate these chase formats. It takes one race to flip it upside down for you, and luckily I've got a little bit of a gap now. We just got to keep pushing for that, and just hope next week at Talladega we avoid the big one. As always, appreciate y'all in the booth. I think they said it was just you tonight, so
sir,
I know you did a great job, and can't wait to go back and watch it. There's plenty of action tonight, so I'm sure you wish you had some help up there with just how this race went, but I know you did a great job.
That's all right. These are the easy tracks. When you get to Dover, when you get to short tracks, when we get to super speedways, it's when you guys decide you want to run Circuit of the Americas, you guys want to run out there at Sears Point, and you guys are all separated by 15 seconds apiece. That's where it gets difficult. But Dalton, fantastic job, buddy. I'm amazed at what you can do out there in that 42 Chevrolet, and we'll all be holding our breath and rooting you on from here when you get out there at that 2.5 mile track there of Talladega. Good luck out there, buddy.
All right, appreciate it, man.
All right, everybody, Dalton Tucker, what an excellent job he did here tonight, and it seemed like nothing was going to stop him. Although Vincent Arthur did have one heck of a run, though, he was reeling these guys in very, very close. He did keep Vincent Arthur within under a second and a half the entirety of the race, but one little two-tire call changed it all. Put him out front, slew of cautions came through. Vincent Arthur started getting tangled up in a lot of that I would say hubbub in the back that you see that was going on in the back 8 spots, and then all of a sudden he just could not recover, and guys were getting bumped around, banged around, and he just could not come out in one piece. But unfortunately, that's how the cookie crumbles for Vincent Arthur. Unfortunately, he finishes in 14th here tonight. Another big driver, Ryan Housden, finishing down in 16th. That's a heartbreaker there as well. Brian Jones in 15th, and Jake Christenberry down in the 17th spot. Hate seeing that for him. Brad Fulham returning back to the track here on third in the 31 car. He finished in 18th. But that's going to do it for us here at SimTraX Broadcasting, bringing you the National Oval Racing Association for the MBNA America 400. We'll see all you guys next week at Talladega. But until then, be well, be safe, be kind, and we'll see all you guys next time.